Hello. My name is Pam Abiola and welcome to my channel. So as you can tell from the caption of this video, this is part 2 of She Broke Up With Me. So if you haven't already done so, I need you to watch part 1 for you to understand this part better. Just an FYI, this is the last part. It's not going to be a part 3 or 4 or 5. It's not going to be a part 50 series. It's literally a 2-part video on She Broke Up With Me, and this is part 2. So just to introduce myself before I get into it, my name is Pam Abiola. Like I said, I'm a life coach who is really passionate about helping people become the best version of themselves. I'm also a charity founder, educating and equipping Congo's future leaders from the ages of 4 to 21 in the UK and in Congo. And I'm also a wife and a mum of 2. So without further ado, let's get into it. So last week I was talking about my friendship breakup, and I ended the video with telling you the truth, which is she essentially broke the friendship up. She essentially broke up with me, which is dramatic, but hey ho, I can be quite dramatic. So yeah, she broke up with me. So yes, we had like that long back and forth. When she then sent that message and was like, yeah, I think we should just, leave it here for now. I feel like right now is not the best time for us to continue. I was like, like, when your throat just starts getting bare dry, like my throat was just bare dry, like my heart was beating fast. I was just like, huh? Like I really wasn't expecting that, because obviously we had been friends for over 10 years. We've had our fallouts here and there, but I didn't think that this was going to be the thing that was going to break it, if that makes sense. So I don't even feel like I messaged back straight away. I feel like I got the message and I just like kind of just sat in that moment and was like, what is, like, I just couldn't believe it. But I don't think I messaged straight back. So then after she sent that message, like I said, I was really upset. My throat was just bare dry. But I had to continue with my day. I've got kids, I've got a husband, I've got, life. I had to continue with my day. And then I remember being proper upset that I was crying in the shower. Like I was legit, when the water's coming down and everything. And I was just crying. I was proper like crying. And I was just like trying to think about all of the events leading up to this situation. And I was like, was it that deep? Like, why did I even share how I felt? Like maybe I should have just, continue to ride it out and just not say anything. Like maybe I should have just invited her. Like I was just proper upset. And I did what I usually do when I'm upset with people. I delete their number. I'm sorry. I delete their number. That's what I do. I know it's childish. God is still working in me. Okay, there's things that I still need to deal with. But I deleted her number, and I just, just wanted to just, sit in my feelings. So it was the evening and I was just thinking about it. And I think I got back to her the next day and I was like, it's fair enough, it's all love. Like, as you know, like I love you, I'm always there for you, whatever. And I think she kind of said like a similar thing to me and whatnot. And then that was it. Like, and also just to give you a bit of background, I did, like, when I say deleted her number, it doesn't mean that I've deleted her, I never want to speak to her again. No, it's just that for me, in that, like I said, this is why I say to you that friendship breakups can feel like romantic relationship breakups, if you know what I mean. Because like I didn't want to see like her photo, I didn't want to see a status, I didn't want to see anything, just in case, like, obviously I know she wouldn't, but just in case there was like maybe a status or a quote that I thought that she may have been talking about me, or maybe, she's doing something and I'm not invited. I'm just being real. This is a real topic, so I want to be completely real. I just didn't want to see it. I was really upset and I was just like, I just don't want to see anything right now. So that's what happened. And it was just, it was just a big shock, because I was just like, like, to end a relationship, like, is it that you're already out the door? Is it this? Is it that? But like, what I want to do in this video is I really want to dive into the things that I learned during that process. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I feel like this took probably over a year to get over. Like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, I think it took over a year. I feel like I'm over it now, but I feel like it's a shame. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a shame that it had to end that way. But it's not like we are enemies or anything. Like, I feel like, you know, if it's her birthday or if it's my birthday, like, you know, we wish each other happy birthday. I think we still wish each other the best, if that makes sense, but we're just not friends anymore. But I'm still very much like rooting for her. I hope she's still rooting for me. Like, I want her to do well, even if we don't talk in this lifetime again, you know, in heaven, I hope we can talk then. Do you know what I mean? So it's just all love. But no, it took like over a year to get over. But what I've decided to do, which is what I'm going to delve into, because I took some notes because I didn't want to forget, but I decided to think about the things that I actually learned from that experience, learn about myself, learn about people, and how I can become a better person, how I can become a better friend, how I can become just better overall, rather than bitter. Because I know that in the past, when I've had like friendship breakups, I've literally like just lost trust. Like, I'm just like, okay, this has happened, I can't trust people again. Like, I kind of, obviously I've gotten older, but sometimes that can be your kind of initial reaction, like, oh, this happened, how can I like trust or even want to do stuff for other people again, if that makes sense. Like, even in a relationship, let's be honest, like, sometimes you can have a romantic relationship breakup and you can feel like, raw, like, I gave my heart, like, why should I give my heart again? I'm going to give, if I gave 100%, maybe next time I'm going to give 50%, 40%. You know, if I was very giving and very nurturing and very like, I don't know, cuddly and caring, maybe I may like strip back what I do. You know how it is. Like, sometimes when we have like negative experiences, we can become, you know, a certain way. And that's not to say that you shouldn't have like guards, because even biblically it says to guard your heart. So it's not to say that you shouldn't have things that you guard, or that you shouldn't have boundaries. Boundaries are very important, right? Guarding certain things are very important. You have to kind of read the room and see how the relationship is and see how someone is. But it's not really fair to charge a future or present person with a mistake that someone has made to you in the past. Like, we're all humans. The same way that you know, the same way that this hurt me, I'm sure I hurt her as well, if that makes sense. And I wouldn't want her to be like, oh, she's gonna be different to other people because of this, and vice versa. So yeah, that's what happened. So in terms of the lessons that I have learned from the experience, I have written it down because I don't want to forget any of them. And number one was to learn to accept when a relationship has changed. Read the room, I call it. Read the room. Because I feel like we could have had, I feel like that friendship breakup could have been avoided had I read the room and understood that it's not that she doesn't care about me anymore. It's not that we don't have, you know, we can't be there for each other anymore. It's just that things have changed. Like I said in the first video, we went from seeing each other all the time to seeing each other sometimes to not really seeing each other. And I think it was a high expectation, maybe, for me to think that we could have the same relationship. And don't get me wrong, right? Let me be honest and transparent in this moment. There are some relationships that I have that we don't see each other that often, but it's still reciprocal, we're still close. And I'm sure you can relate, right? In this adulthood, you have to kind of like proper like schedule time to see your friends, like even your close friends, even your family. Like, sometimes it feels like you have to schedule it once a month or once every 3 months. Otherwise, you just will not see each other, especially after COVID. So I felt like maybe in this situation, because I can't compare it to my other relationships, maybe in this particular relationship, I should have read the room and understood that because of proximity, because of changes, that the relationship was changing. And rather than wanting the same thing I think I should have understood that things are changing, read the room, and kind of like, alter things in that kind of respect, if that makes sense. Number two, do not expect for the person you are in a relationship to understand you. So I say this because even though we had a back and forth, I never felt like we agreed on anything. Like, I honestly felt like throughout the conversations that we were having, throughout the conflicts, throughout the messages and the phone calls, I never once felt like we agreed. And I had to that really taught me that you have to agree to disagree sometimes. And that's not a problem. Why it's not a problem? Because even in marriage, like, I have been married for over 6 years. I've been with my husband for nearly 15 years, right? And there's going to be times when we just agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree in raising our children. We can agree to disagree in terms of, in terms of topics or things that we are, going through in our marriage, but that's okay. And I think sometimes we need to understand that in a relationship, you're not always going to see eye to eye with someone, but that's okay. It doesn't have to burn the bridge. It doesn't have to end the relationship. In some instances, it does, if it's just against your morals and values and against what you believe, it's against your progress in life. But there are other instances where it doesn't have to break or, break that relationship. There's instances where you can just agree to disagree and let it go. And I feel like, upon reflection, there could have been times, not just in this relationship, but in other relationships, where I could have just agreed to disagree and understand that even if the person does not see where I'm coming from, it doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they can't see where I'm coming from. Literally, that's all it is. Don't take it to offense. Just understand that. Number three, which I think is what helped me really, really heal from this breakup, was cherish the past, cherish the moments. Like, me and this girl had fun. We had fun. Like, even talking about it right now, I'm smiling because we legit had fun. Like, it was always good vibes. We sometimes we'll just be on the sofa, like, watching Catfish, for example. Like, she was my Catfish buddy. Like, we would just have sleepovers at each other's houses. Like, we just had fun. And I think that is just something to understand, that even if a relationship doesn't, even if you don't reconcile, you can actually cherish the moments and be like, you know what, we didn't reconcile, but we had fun. Like, it was love, man. We made good memories. So I think it's important, like, even if the relationship doesn't look the same, or even if it never, you never reconcile, just cherish the times that you had. Cherish the time that you had. Another point is to not allow this to make you bitter, but better in your existing relationships. And I think I've touched upon that when I was talking about, not expecting the person to understand you. Like, I feel like sometimes, not even just relationships, but life in general, sometimes we can go through different experiences that can really leave us bitter. But the truth is, when going through an experience that you kind of don't like, it's always really important to see how you can become a better person from the experience. And I'll give you an example. So after this experience, I learned that I could have been better at attending her events. So although I'm not in her life like that anymore, I am intentional about trying to attend events for the friends that I have now. Because I know in the past I was kind of maybe a bit laid back and stuff like that, but I'm very, very intentional. Literally, I'm not joking. Even if I don't have childcare, there'll be times where my child is coming to me. Like, I've gone to my friend's party with my child. I've gone to my friend's birthday, my friend's baby shower with my baby, even though I was hosting, because I was just like, there is no way. Like, to the point where, I don't live in London anymore, but even if I have to leave where I'm living to take the train to go and drop my babies to my mum's house or whatever, and then go to a friend's thing and then leave on Sunday morning, I do that. Like, I go the extra mile, I kid you not, because I've understood that the same way that my friends, you know, turn out for me is the same way that I should, you know, show up for them. I said turn out, I meant show up. The same way that my friends show up for me, I should show up for them. And honestly, it's never been an intention of me to not be somewhere. Sometimes it just happens, but I try and just be intentional. I try and be intentional in terms of like my communication, because sometimes, again, because I don't like confrontation, I won't say straight away if you offended me. I won't say straight away if you've hurt me. And that, in a sense, is kind of like having an elephant in the room, because believe it or not, even if you don't say it, someone knows when there's something up, and that can really impact the relationship, because they can just feel like it's something else, and then it just impacts the way that you guys talk. So find ways to be better in the relationships that you have. Find ways to be a better person and to be a better friend. And then, 2 more points. Be confident in what you bring to the table, and understand sometimes it's time to move to tables, or your time is up in that person's life. I love this one because I think sometimes, especially in romantic relationships, which I'm not talking about in this occasion, but it's still a relationship, right? Especially in a relationship breakdown, we can be so harsh on ourselves and think about like our defaults, and maybe think, oh, maybe it's us, maybe it's that I'm trying to think of one. I'm too, needy. Maybe someone can make you feel like you're too needy, right? Or you're too this or you're too that. But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just that it just didn't work out. Like, your time in their life is up. But you need to be confident in what you bring to the table as a person, and how you add value to someone's life. Like, I think it's very important to understand that even when a relationship breaks down, like even if it's a romantic relationship again, and it doesn't work out, you need to remind yourself that, okay, it didn't work out, but I bring something to the table. I add value. You know, wherever I go, I add value to every relationship. So just remember to not lose your confidence, and to not allow your confidence to be impacted based on a relationship breaking up, because sometimes it's just that the season has changed and you no longer need to be in each other's lives, and that's absolutely fine. But be confident in what you bring to the table. And last but not least, acknowledge when you have hurt someone. Like, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you have hurt someone, even if you don't understand it, even if you didn't mean to. Just acknowledge other people's feelings. The same way that you would want your feelings to be acknowledged, the same way that you would want someone to understand and get you, is the same way that you need to acknowledge someone's feelings. And you need to be humble enough to apologize when you've done wrong. And you need to be humble enough to apologize when you've done wrong without knowing it. It's just so important. It's just humility and apologizing. It's very, very important. Even if it doesn't mean that it repairs or the relationship, or that you reconcile, just knowing that you've apologized, just knowing that you've acknowledged how someone feels it's really strong. It's really powerful. So yeah, acknowledge that. So that brings us to the end of She Broke Up With Me. Like I said, I know the title can sound quite dramatic, but I am very much aware that this is a topic and something that we have all kind of dealt with, or most of us have dealt with. And I think it's just important for us to have open and honest conversations, to understand that we are not alone, and to understand that when these experiences happen, there are ways for us to be a better version of ourselves. So as I've mentioned before, I am a life coach. I am really passionate about helping people become the best version of themselves. So if you are interested in doing a one-to-one life coaching session with me, then please check out my website, which is www.pamelaabiola.com. If you want to stay connected, if you want to be a part of the polls, be a part of sharing your stories, just be a part of the debate in not just this kind of topic, but all the topics that I will be touching on. I love to always start on Instagram. Then make sure you check me out on Instagram at Pamela Abiola. Make sure you also check me out on TikTok if you want like just to watch some short kind of encouraging videos. And also, if you're interested in charity work, you're interested in the work that I do in Congo, or you're even interested in starting up your own charity, your own initiative, I am also open to consultations now, which I'm really excited about. But I'm also happy for people to support the work that we do in Congo and find out more about us. So you can check us out on www.revivecongo.org. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you like and subscribe and share. And I will see you next time for the next topic. Bye bye.